Drugstore makeup has come a long way, y'all. In today's video, I'm talking about and showing you some of my favorites. And guess what? They're all under $10 before tax. Sorry. By the way, I'm Jeannie. I'm a pro makeup artist. I live in Los Angeles. I work with celebrities, beauty brands, and everyone in between. Welcome to my channel. First things first, we must hydrate the lips. One of my favorite drugstore lip products, it's probably my favorite drugstore lip product, honestly, is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Lip Mask. And that's because it's almost a perfect dupe for the Laneige lip mask. But it is $7 instead of, I think, 22 or 25, something like that. But it has that same kind of emollient feel. It's so nice. I keep this next to my bed and I use it every night. I've already done my brows for the sake of time, but I want to talk about my favorite drugstore brow products. For those of you who have watched my channel before, it will come as no surprise that I am going to mention NYX brow products. I think NYX is slaying the drugstore eyebrow game. Their brow glue is amazing. The lift and snatch pens are amazing. Even the pencils themselves are also really great. I have a bunch of those in my kit. I have all of these in my kit as well, both personal and professional, and they're just so good. I started with the brow glue. This is in the shade Taupe. The clear one is really good. That's the one I have in my kit, but this one I really like because it gets all those little extra brow hairs that you can't see and it tints them. So then once you go in with the brow pen, you have less to fill in. It's a really good time saver. NYX is just the best when it comes to drugstore brows, in my opinion. I'm gonna go back to e.l.f. Cosmetics and the Holy Hydration line because I think it's so good for a drugstore skincare line. I'm not really a big fan of drugstore skincare, if I'm honest. I don't really use it. I bought this for a tutorial that I did a few months ago and I've been using this pretty much every day. I love how hydrating it is. I love how it lays under makeup, and I love that it has an SPF of 30 in it. So I'm getting my moisturizer and my sunscreen in one fell swoop. Gonna grab a little bit, and this moisturizer is so hydrating and plumping. My skin just feels so good when I use it, and I also love that I'm getting protection at the same time. I don't use a lot of drugstore foundations. It's mostly because I prefer higher end because they tend to perform better for me, whether it's on a client or on myself. This foundation, though, is a winner. Let me tell you, it's very highly rated on all the blogs and a lot of the other YouTubers who have done reviews of drugstore foundations. They've mentioned this one. So I went out and I bought it, and I've been using it for a little over a week. It's been very hot here in Los Angeles, and it has not broken down at all. I'm talking about the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. It's about a medium coverage. It's a satin finish. You can definitely matte it down with powder, or you can make it dewy. It's flexible in that sense, and the coverage is great. I will also say that the shade range from L'Oreal is very impressive because they have warm shades, cool shades, and neutral shades. I am a neutral. This is 5N. You'll also see when I apply this that it's much darker than my face, but that's because I have a tan. I've been spending some time in the sun this summer, which has been wonderful. My shoulders and my chest are a lot darker than my face is, so I wanted to find a little bit of cohesion between that, which is why I got a deeper foundation. Pump some on the back of my hand, take my tried and true IT Cosmetics brush, and just start buffing it in. Another thing about this foundation that's really nice is you can really thin it out, and the pigment on it is so good. Again, it's not super matte, but it's also not super dewy either, which for summertime is great because I don't need anything making me look any more oily. It really just looks like skin. I'm gonna take a little bit more and go down my neck just to match everything because my neck is quite pale. There we go. Now everything looks a little bit more cohesive. I'm gonna do a close mirror check because I'm blind. Pro tip, have a mirror far away and have a mirror up close. Switch between the two, trust me. Because sometimes you can get so focused on what's happening here that you don't see what's happening here, and they're two completely different perspectives. Continuing with skin, we're going to use some concealer. I've talked about these on my channel before. They're the Revlon 5-in-1 Awaken Concealers. I don't have the right shade for what I would use today. That would be shade 25 or maybe, no, probably the shade 25. But I have 15 and I have 30. So I like to mix the two and kind of create my own shade. You don't need two concealers. I bought 30, realizing it was just my shade when I didn't have a tan. So I bought 15 because I couldn't find 25. And then I found 25 and then I lost 20. It's just, you know, if you notice, I like working off the back of my hand. I do the same thing with concealers. I have a little of the 15, and it's right on top of the foundation where I have the foundation on my hand. You don't need to clean your hand between, it's fine. when you're working with skin products. Oh, that's the 30. I'm sorry. So this is the 15, which you can see is quite light. I'm just going to lighten up that 30 a little bit. And I'm going to take the other side of my IT Cosmetics brush and I'm going to mix these two. I'm working it into my brush and not placing it directly onto my face because I notice if I do that, I tend to crease more. And especially in this heat, we do not need help with any creasing. So I'm just going to work under the eyes, really just anywhere you might need some coverage. I bring it up on the eyelid too, just to create a base if I want to do an eyeshadow look, or if not, it just helps to cancel out any darkness, any discoloration on the eyelid. And then I'll just spot conceal anywhere I need a little bit of extra coverage. But the L'Oreal True Match did a really nice job of evening out my skin and giving me a nice base. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of concealer to the top of my cheekbones just to accentuate that lift in the face, bring a little light to the area. I also do this when I'm feeling especially tired. Now to set the face, I'm going to go back to e.l.f. You're going to be hearing the same brand names pretty much throughout this whole video, and that's because they're doing a great job with makeup. This is the Halo Glow Setting Powder from e.l.f. I love how finely milled this is for a drugstore powder. It's going to take a little bit in the lid. I usually use a powder puff, but today I'm going to use a brush. Just going to swirl it in the lid, tap it off, and set my under eye and eyelid. This is a really great powder. It's gonna powder all over just to set the face. Like I said, it's been very hot here. And even though I powdered the whole face, my foundation isn't flat. For eyes, I'm not a big eye look person personally, especially for everyday. I tend to just use a little bit of mascara and then maybe do a little bronzer or blush in my crease. When I went to the drugstore to look for eye products, I saw some things that I've used before that I didn't really love. And I don't want to show you something just to show you something and be like, I love it, when I don't, because that's not honest. And I always want to give you my honest opinions. I've already curled my lashes so I can talk about my favorite drugstore mascara. Now this one I actually haven't tried because it's a new shade, but it's the Lash Paradise, and this is the new brown shade. It's like a warm brown shade. It's called Latte Brown, so it's more of a warm brown. I had mentioned it in a previous tutorial how much I loved another brown mascara from another brand because it's really rich and delicious. I have not used this yet, but this formula, the Lash Paradise formula, is my favorite drugstore formula. L'Oreal really knows how to do mascara. I love the voluminous, I love the telescopic, love all of their mascaras, but the Lash Paradise is my personal favorite. And when I saw this, I had to grab it and use it for this tutorial. You can't really see it on camera, but it's such a beautiful brown. I'm really excited to try it. L'Oreal, I need you to make this waterproof. I need it waterproof because I need to wear it for my wedding because I love it. Oh my gosh. If you've watched my channel before, it will come as zero surprise that my next favorite product is a cream bronzer. I love cream bronzer. I love this cream bronzer, and I knew I loved it because I bought it for another tutorial and then I started using it every single day. It's once again from e.l.f. and it's the cream contour palette. e.l.f., I need you to make this shade on its own. I need a big fatty of this on its own so I can just use this in my kit and on myself, on everybody. I love it. So we're going to take our cream contour on a 151 Smith brush, tap it in. You know the deal. Tap it on the back of the hand, remove any excess, and we're just going to pop it on. Top of the forehead, across the nose. And don't forget with that bronzer, brush it into the hairline. You don't want any gaps between your skin and your hairline. Do you see how good that is? Oh. I love how cream bronzer and contour just brings so much shape to the face. It just makes the face come forward and pop. Now we're talking about blush. I'm going to talk about both cream and powder because I just can't help myself and because there's both options at the drugstore. My absolute favorite powder blush, best pigment, best application. The shade range is okay. It's better for light to medium skin tones. I wish they had more punchy, bright colors for deeper skin because I would keep them all in my kit. But it's the Maybelline Fit Me blush. And this shade in particular, Plum, I'm a stan for Plum. It's just the most beautiful, cool toned pink. I'm going to take a synthetic brush. This is from Hourglass. I've had this forever. I'm going to go into the powder, tap it off, and then just right over the cream. And the cool tone Plum with the warm bronzer is such a beautiful combination. Now for cream blush, there are quite a few options. I've tried a bunch. There are some that I like, but I'm going to feature this one in particular because I've mentioned the brand already in this video before. They just do the best dupes, and it's this e.l.f. Halo Glow blush, and it is a perfect dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury blush wand. These are shimmery, pigmented, and so pretty on the face. They give such a beautiful glow to the cheek. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to place it on top of what I already have on because there's no rules and we can do whatever we want. It's makeup, right? Has the same kind of doe foot applicator. Probably grabbed a little bit too much, but I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand. I have to say e.l.f. and NYX are probably my favorites when it comes to cream blushes from the drugstore. And that's not because I've talked about them already. I'm going to tap a little bit on. Double check in the small mirror. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more on a Smith Cosmetics 247 brush. I'm just going to sweep it all over the lid. So now we have an eyeshadow look. Really easy. And it's more of a wash of color, so it's really faint, but then it ties everything together with the blush. Now remember when I said that drugstore makeup has come a long way? I feel like that is the most apparent in drugstore lipstick. Drugstore lipstick is amazing. The formulas have improved, the pigments have improved, and the shade ranges have improved. I have a Revlon lipstick, I have the NYX Intense Butter Gloss. Maybelline lipsticks are some of the best drugstore lipsticks ever. The pigment is amazing and they're so creamy, they feel really nice on the lips. I also really love the CoverGirl Yummy Lip Gloss. I would be remiss if I didn't mention lip gloss in this tutorial. This formula is so good and it smells amazing and it's a clean formula, which is also really great that you can get a clean formula at the drugstore. However, I wanted to feature this product in particular because I've been curious about the new shade range and I've used this formula before and I've really loved it. It's the NYX Lingerie XXL. These are their liquid matte lipsticks. It's not super drying and it's really long lasting on the lips. And here's our finished look of our drugstore makeup with products that are $10 or less. I think it looks expensive, and you would never know that everything I have on my face is from the drugstore. I love that there are so many options available to us, and I have a variety of both drugstore and high-end products in my pro kit as well. It just depends on what performs and what looks the best, and every face is different. As always, I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below any thoughts or any favorite drugstore products of yours. I would love to try them out and maybe feature them in another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with a brand new tutorial.